Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with his good friend, the Lumberjack. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing super awesome. I'm excited for segment number 3 because this is a guy that we're going to talk about that I actually like the guy. I like him. I do.
Yeah. So Matt and I are talking about a video that Grant Cardone put out yesterday, basically why you are broke. It was 7 or 8 minutes of him walking through some fancy home in Las Vegas.
The Mirage, yeah.
It was the Mirage. I guess he's
Beautiful.
staying in one of the villas, would be my guess. So
yeah,
that is another level, folks. That's another level.
Yes,
because he walked from one pool through the house to another pool. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
That's a different pool.
It was awesome. I was like, man, because I go to Vegas a lot and I can get suites, but I haven't done the villas.
I have not done a villa. No. I've not even been offered. I don't even know where the villas are. We got different levels here, right?
I found out where they are, but I still not have gotten to stay there. And I won't because it's like $4,000 a night.
Oh yeah.
Hard pass.
Hard pass. Yeah, I like my money too much. But anyways, exactly. What I wanted to talk about was that video, kind of that idea, right? Why you're still broke. Kind of also with that quiet desperation from Joe Rogan, from you, I, and Dion from 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I think there's a lot. Obviously, Grant was selling whatever he was selling there, but I think there's a very big kernel of truth that we've all been sold the wrong plan. And I've acknowledged it, actually. Right. For me, the greatest aha moment in Rich Dad Poor Dad was simply 2 words, and that was the rat race.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's been a couple of times in my life where I feel like I've been physically slapped or woken up. And reading that word the first time, it felt like that. I'm like, shit. I have entered the rat race and I didn't even know. I was running on the hamster wheel. In my idiot stupidity, I was running so fast the wheel was getting bigger, called lifestyle creep. The wheel gets bigger. Here's the hint, folks. The wheel doesn't have to get bigger. If you make money, the wheel doesn't have to get bigger. But my stupid brain, my education, I made it mindset is I allowed the wheel to grow. And oh, by the way, if you don't know, you have to run a lot harder as the wheel gets bigger to maintain the speed.
Yep.
I was exhausted at 30.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I had the wrong mindset. What about you?
So yeah, I mean, I think for me, I think that's probably what helped me the most. I never read the book, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
I'm going to buy it for you for Christmas.
I've had here's the thing. I've had Mike, the last 2 books I've read were the ones you wrote. So.
Oh, nice. I like it.
I mean, I'm a periodicals guy. Like I'm constantly looking for data and for information and trying to understand more things, but I'm a short, keep it simple, stupid. I'm a 9th grade dropout. What do you want from me?
Let's just be clear about that. Yes, you are a 9th grade dropout, but your vocabulary, your intelligence is without question, after knowing you for a year, is above mine. So let's just,
thanks.
Let's be clever. Yeah, you throw words out sometimes and I go, shit, I got to go look that one up.
It only matters if you do something with it, right? Because I have friends that have unbelievable vocabularies. And quite frankly, when, are red and bleed red crimson, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
And honestly, they are dumber than a stump when it comes to real life. And I'm like, hey, congratulations on being wicked overeducated and enjoying that massive bill that you're still paying in your 40s. It's amounted to nothing. It's gotten you nowhere in life.
Yeah, I've met a few of those too.
And so the funny thing about it is I think that what I love what Grant was talking about is that, we a lot of times have these mindsets. A lot of times those mindsets are put in us by our parents.
Mm-hmm.
And, we see the life that they led and, some people make the decision that that's okay. And some people make the decision that I will never live a life like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at the end of the day, for me, I never really struggled with a poverty mentality, even though we were poor.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have a lot of money. Obviously I dropped out of school, in the 9th grade and I always liked working and I always liked creating things. And I think for so many people, if you're being told nonstop that you have to go to college to become anything, I was told that all the time. And quite frankly, I could buy any of the people that told me that probably 10 times over.
Yeah.
So I think what it really comes down to is understanding that there is no replacement. So I'm a car guy. So one of the things that always people talk about is, there's no replacement for displacement, which is the size of your motor. And I think that that's largely true in what we do here in real estate. Is that, and yes, I'm laughing because I can't see you, but that's okay. But I think one of the neat things that happens for us in this game, right, is that we have to have that motor where we're constantly going, constantly looking, constantly evolving, constantly changing. And I think so often people look at schooling like it's K through 12 and then maybe college and then you're done. Oh my word. If you stop learning, then you're screwed.
Yeah.
You need to be constantly learning and constantly attacking and constantly going after it. And again, you're going to spend your life either waiting until you get to 65 and then maybe having a decent life financially if you followed everything Dave Ramsey says, or you can actually run the game.
Yeah.
You can run the game. You can be the one that says, I don't want to retire at 65. I want to retire at 40. And this is what it's going to take. I need to get financial independence. How do I do that financial independence? How do I invest in myself? That is the greatest investment anybody will make, is investing in themselves. And I've said it once, I'll say it 100 times more. There is no better time to monetize your gifts, talents, and abilities than there is right now. With YouTube, with TikTok, with Instagram, there has never been a better time to monetize your gifts, your talents, and your abilities. And we all have them, and they're all different. And that's what makes us great. That's what makes us great, that difference. But find a way to leverage what you're really good at and put it out there in a place where people can consume it, because that's your gift back to people. That's what all of us are responsible for. Mike is an absolute financial whiz, totally gets the economy and gets it in a real way and has experience doing it. That's what he gives back every single day, is that view, that mindset, that point of view that help people start off. So I know it's a little bit soapboxy, but that's just how passionate I am about this stuff. Is that, yeah, I figured out what my niche was, and now it's my responsibility to, yes, have gotten good at it. I learned all the lessons on my own dime. And so all I can do is put that knowledge out there for other people to take advantage of and use as much of it as they see fit.
Yeah. One of the things, again, I want to give Dion a lot of credit for. Dion comes up with these little phrases that just hit you, right? And I believe that selling is telling stories, because stories you remember and all of that stuff. One of the things I think he said last week, or was the week before with us, was act like you're going to be alive in 5 years or 10 years. I'm like, duh, what a great idea, right? And oh, by the way, ask yourself, what are you still doing the same things you did 5 or 10 years ago? If you've done the things for 5 or 10 years and you got where you are, but you're not changing anything going forward, what's going to be different? Nothing, right?
Self-reflection and accountability. What?
Yeah, come on now. Yeah. I mean, I can't blame others for where I'm at in life. Where's the fun in that? It's everybody else's fault, not mine. But that's a crazy idea. I would ask people watching this, is like, where do you want to be in 10 years?
Yeah.
And for most of us, it's a different place than we are now. Well, assuming that's true, first off, back to Gary Vee, if you are happy in life right now, you won. I want to say congratulations.
That's right.
Keep doing what you're doing. If you are happy with where you are right now, you won. It doesn't matter. Nobody else cares. Your score says you won. Most of us have quiet desperation. Back to that Joe Rogan quote or video I shared a few weeks ago. You aren't happy. In fact, the word quiet desperation hit me hard, because that's where I was. I had lost 150 grand in the market. I thought I let my family down. I was seeking hope when I found that purple book. Most of us can admit to being, maybe you're not that bad, but you're close. There is no better way. Go back to watching video number 1 in an inflationary environment that's coming. Video number 2, if you really want to change it, pony up to $250 and let's join the family that's growing. But you've got to do something different.
Yeah.
And sometimes different is uncomfortable, but growth comes from being uncomfortable. So
yeah, I think that's key. I think, the reason I've gotten every job I've ever interviewed for is because when they got to the question of, so tell me where you think you're going to be in 5 years, I actually not only would say, obviously, this super successful position, but I would also lay out the plan of how I was going to get there. And that's why I ended up there. So the fact of the matter is that saying, well, I'm going to own 10 rental properties in 5 years. Okay, tell me how that starts.
Yep.
Well, I have to get, I'm still kind of figuring that out. No, then you're not going to be at 10 in 5 years.
Yeah.
Tell me what the next practical step that you're going to take is. Well, so my next practical step is I'm actually going to buy a course that was done by somebody that's really successful at doing this thing that I want to be successful at. And he has 10 other experts or 12 other experts that have chimed in and given their expertise on the part that they're really good at. I'm going to take that and I'm going to listen to it over and over and over and over again until that becomes second nature for me. Once I've done that, I'm then going to have purchased my first deal. Once I've done that, I will learn some of those things. And then you take it through that progression, right? And the course is never going to go away. Once you get that access to it, once you've purchased that, you own the course. That's what Mike said he's going to do.
Yeah. And
So
you
if you-
get it in the community with other 1,000 people that's growing every week. The thing that's missing that people don't understand about the private group, because again, I had 48 people buy the course last week because of this discount. And I think only 19, I think it was, that joined the Facebook group. Now, some of the 48 don't have Facebook. Got it. But most of them do at some level, or they can use their wife or their kid, whatever it is. Tell me you're coming from that account. I'll let you in. Is you're going to be around 1,000 other people doing the work. You want to be held accountable? Go to that Facebook group once a day and watch the wins in the questions. If you want to be a butterfly for 6 months, be a butterfly, but eventually introduce yourself. Tell your market, give your buy box, talk about average, network, meet a mortgage broker, meet other investors.
If only 18 out of the 48 that bought that joined, 30 people are not doing the right thing.
Yeah, I agree.
30 people are not leveraging the investment that they just made. I always talk to my marketing team for my real job. I always talk to my marketing team and I say, marketing is not a spend, it's an investment.
Yes.
Because for every dollar that we invest, I expect a return on that capital. And it's the same thing here. You are investing in something that's going to give you a knowledge return. And that knowledge return is then going to turn into financial return. But you have to know it. You have to know it cold. And too many people, I suspect, based on some of the comments that I've seen, too many people get in, they think they're ready after 5 hours. You're not ready yet after 5 hours. You've got a lot of work left to be done. The good news is slow and steady wins the race. It's time in the market beats time in the market.
Yeah.
So the most important thing you can do is be putting time into something that you then want to get that harvest back. And that's what I talk about, just this harvest concept of you can only harvest the seed that you've sown and nurtured through to the point where you can actually then harvest it.
Yeah.
So the more seed you sow, the more you can return on your harvest. But you have to start somewhere. There's no shortcuts to putting the seed in the ground. There's no shortcuts to tilling the ground. There's no shortcuts to taking care of that seed and nurturing it and watering it. And every single time you go and read and do your homework at night, every single time you're doing that, you're watering that seed to give it its opportunity to turn into that eventual harvest. But there's no, I always take executives and I kind of embarrass them and I say, this is not the Coke machine of success. You don't put $1 in and it instantly gives you out a Coca-Cola. We're not a vending machine. You invest, you start to see it grow, and then you start to see return on that capital. And then that income snowball comes into effect. And then you really start to see massive returns. So one thing that I'll just say about that is that somebody said to me, hey, with debt to income being so difficult, this was in the live stream this last Sunday, with debt to income so difficult, how do you keep on funding your next deal? Because I make so much money on a monthly basis, I can buy my next deal for cash in a month or two. And I can certainly leverage to get another mortgage. You're in exactly the same position that you can get to that.
Oh, yeah.
As you get further down that path, it gets more, it gets bigger, it gets faster. And then you really turn into a deal machine where you're like, yep, that one, nope, that one, nope, yep, that one over there. And then before you know it, you're 90 something units knocking on the door of 100.
I haven't had active income in 5 years, 4.5 years. I have no problem getting loans. In fact, I have to do such good deals. I can't get cheap loans. Like I don't have a 3% mortgage.
Yep.
That's okay. I can go get loans just fine. It's called commercial. It's okay. But yeah, once you get to a point, you can get loans. The other thing I want to talk about, it kind of in Grant's video, was you need to recognize where you are. And then you need to track spend. He didn't say these words, I don't think, but you got to track your budgeting, needs versus wants. It's all there. It's an anchor and a foundation. It's why I created the Get the Money Right course, because not enough people were doing it right. They were jumping in. They got a couple of bucks. They want the sexiness of real estate, but folks, you got to start early, right? The lumberjack has given us data in the Get Your Money Right course as well, right? So talk about that.
That spreadsheet is changing lives. It really is. I mean, I've done that with a few of my students where I've just said, okay, here's the first step, because quite frankly, and you know who you are, your numbers sucked. They were horrible. You were a wicked overspender based on how much your income was.
Yeah.
That gave you the picture after 30 days. And honestly, Mike, they kind of felt it day 13. Day 13,
oh, this is gonna
they
be
were
bad.
Like, oh, this is getting really bad. And I haven't paid rent yet. And I haven't made my car payment yet. This is going to suck.
Yeah.
And again, everybody, you know, to these people's credit, they looked at it and they said, we have to make the adjustment. We have to redo something. We have to do something different. And that's what's adjusted for them. And so, you know, month one, yeah, they blew the doors off. Month two, a 15% improvement on spending just over the previous month. They can do that again because they can just get out of some of the things that were expenses to them. It's the same thing. Get your money right first, because then that's what's going to be the catalyst for turning from all this data that you've put in and created and turned into information in your head. That's then going to be the catalyst to say, okay, I've gotten everything right. I have my knowledge. I understand what I'm doing now. Yes, I don't know everything, but I know a lot more than I used to. And now I can take that step forward and look at making that first investment. And at that point, you're actually prepared and in a position where you can sustain it.
Yeah. Folks, if you're sitting here, you're quietly desperate, you're broke, to use Grant's words, you want a better future, we can show you the way. There's a path. You need to take some ownership. You need to do the work. Go watch video 1, the best asset in an inflationary environment. I could not believe there was a financial report yesterday. It made me chuckle, and then I was sad. It said that inflation hurts the poor the most.
Of course,
I'm like, duh.
Yeah.
How is this news? I mean, really, folks? How is this news? And again, I go back to a very unfortunate story. I remember walking into the kitchen. My mom is sitting at this little brown kitchen table we had that actually we never ate on. It was really weird, but it was there. But she was paying bills, and she's like, Michael, we have $87 left, and I have $312 in bills. I don't know what to do. And it's because inflation is nasty.
Yeah.
And yeah, incomes are up 5%, but inflation's at 6%. And I think inflation is truly 10. So who's really winning? It's going to get ugly. So take some ownership. Let's you can control it. It does get better. We're here for you if you want it. So Matt, how can people find you and follow you?
Lumberjack Landlord on YouTube and Lumberjack Landlord live stream every Sunday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time, right after one rental at a time's daily financial news. We are here.
Very cool, man. I appreciate you. And I have no idea how you can go 3.5 hours. Truly, truly amazing. Thanks, brother.
Thanks, Mike. Take care.